Before Mahatma Gandhi, another remarkable social reformer was born in India, who tirelessly fought against social evils like caste discrimination, untouchability and illiteracy. He also worked hard to improve the lives of farmers and fought passionately for women's rights. In the 19th century, Indian society was caught in a struggle between old superstitions and new ideas. It was in this challenging environment in Maharashtra that a child named Jyotirao Phule was born into Govindrao Phule's family. His full name was Jyotirao Govindrao Phule, but he became widely known as Jyotiba Phule. For centuries, India has struggled with issues like untouchability, caste system, gender inequality and superstition. Jyotiba Phule devoted his life to tackling these deep-rooted issues, making a lasting impact and inspiring generations to fight for social justice.
In 19th century, there was a movement for cultural revival and rejuvenation, and there were many social reformers who were actually trying to re-evolve and re-adopt the Vedic way of life. There was focus on the ancient history and the glory of Indian culture. However, Jyotiba Phule tried to reform the society, introduce reform in society on the basis of the very situation that prevailed over that particular time frame. And he realized that untouchability was the most sinful problem of Indian society. So he fought against untouchability. He was one who very critically examined the caste system, and he opposed caste system because it was a big trouble in the progressive development of Indian society.
His work and dedication earned him the title of Mahatma on May 11, 1888, bestowed by the Maharashtrian social activist Vittalrao Krishnaji Vandekar. Jyotiba Phule led a powerful and impactful movement in the modern era to achieve social change in India. His thoughts and actions helped liberate the backward and deprived sections of society from the caste system. Mahatma Phule was a staunch advocate for girls' education and a pioneer for women's rights in India. He is credited with founding the first Hindu orphanage for children in need. Together with his wife Savitribai Phule, the country's first female teacher, Jyotiba Phule worked diligently for the liberation of women. His profound influence on the social reform movement in India is evident, as Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the architect of the Indian Constitution, regarded Mahatma Phule as his inspiration. Known as the father of the Indian social revolution, Phule was born on April 11, 1827 in Maharashtra into the Mali caste of gardeners and vegetable farmers. The men in his family were florists and even served the ruler Peshwa Bajirao II, adopting the surname Phule as a result. Mahatma Phule's childhood was filled with hardships. His father, Govindrao, was a farmer and flower vendor in Pune, and his mother, Chimnabai, passed away when he was young. Despite being a bright student, Phule had to leave school due to his family's financial struggles and began working on the farm with his father. However, a neighbor recognized Jyotirao's potential and convinced his father to let him continue his education. In 1841, he enrolled in the Scottish Mission High School in Pune and graduated in 1847. At the age of 13, Jyotirao married Savitribai in 1840. Despite being uneducated at the time, Savitribai became an equal partner in his work. Jyotiba taught her to read and write, and together they worked tirelessly for social reform. Jyotiba Phule's journey to becoming Mahatma Jyotiba Phule is both fascinating and reminiscent of Mahatma Gandhi's experiences. Just as Gandhi faced appetite in Africa and vowed to eradicate it, Phule, after experiencing caste-based discrimination, dedicated his life to fighting against it. Both men turned their personal struggles into lifelong missions for social justice. The turning point in Phule's life came in 1848 when he attended the wedding of a friend from an upper caste. When the bridegroom's relatives insulted him because of his social background, Phule left the venue, vowing to challenge the ills of the caste system.
Throughout his life, Jyotiba Phule championed girls' education and pioneered women's rights in India. He founded the first Hindu orphanage and played a crucial role in challenging the rigidities of the caste system.
Jyotiba Phule was influenced by Thomas Paine's book The Rights of Man and was convinced that enlightening women and lower caste individuals was the key to combating social evils. He argued that education was crucial in addressing the social and economic problems faced by women and backward castes. Phule believed that in the eyes of God, men and women are equal and thus there should be no discrimination between them. During that time, the condition of girls and women was extremely deplorable. They were not even allowed to study or write. To create a just and fair society in line with his dreams and aspirations, Phule, along with his wife, opened the first indigenously run school for girls in Pune in 1848. The school welcomed girls from diverse sections, religions and socio-economic backgrounds to come and study. When Jyotiba couldn't find a teacher for the school, he taught his wife Savitribai at home and she became the teacher of the girls' school. In their effort to educate girls, Phule and his wife faced ostracism from their community. However, they were supported by their friend who welcomed them into his home where the girls' school operated. By 1852, Phule had established 3 schools. Phule also criticized the British government's educational policy and scholarship system, insisting on vocational education, practical knowledge and the development of business skills in the school and college curriculum. He believed that education should be practically useful in life and advocated for including agriculture in the curriculum, recognizing its importance in India. Phule identified social conditions, social deterioration and poverty as key factors responsible for dropouts in education. Unfortunately, all the schools had to close by 1858 due to a shortage of funds following the revolt of 1857. Nevertheless, Phule and his wife continued their work towards socio-economic and gender equality. The school they started initiated a new wave of social reforms during colonial times. Jyotiba Phule believed that the work of bringing change in society should start at home. He was the first social reformer in the country to embrace this approach, setting a powerful example for others to follow. Realizing the miserable conditions faced by widows, Jyotiba Phule founded an ashram for young widows and supported the concept of widow remarriage. During his time, society was deeply patriarchal and women's status was particularly dire. Female infanticide and child marriage were common, with young girls often married to much older men. Many of these girls became widows before reaching adolescence, leaving them without any familial support.
There is one thing very important. First, that he considered women as equal to males. This is very important, and it is generally said, quoted by historians, that he had gone through a book by it was equality of all human being, which was essential for a democratic society. So he once visited a Christian mission school in Ahmednagar, that is a town in Maharashtra, and from there he decided that initiative should be taken for women education. It was Savitribai Phule, his wife, who actually worked hard for the women education, and they established various schools in different nooks and corners of Maharashtra for educating Indian girls.
Distressed by their plight, Jyotiba founded an orphanage in 1854 to protect these vulnerable children. In 1863, he, along with his wife and a friend, opened an infanticide prevention center where pregnant widows could safely give birth and care for their infants. They ran the centre until the mid-1880s, providing a crucial refuge for those in need. To achieve equal social and economic benefits for the lower castes in Maharashtra, Phule and his followers founded Satya Shodhak Samaj, Seekers of Truth, in 1873. Phule served as president and his wife Savitribai headed the women's department. This association welcomed people from all religion and castes, working tirelessly for the upliftment of the oppressed classes. The Satya Shodhak Samaj emphasized the importance of education and encouraged weddings without priests, making it clear that anyone, regardless of social class, could join. One of the Phule's main goals was to unite people oppressed by the upper caste-dominated caste system. The mission of the Satya Shodhak Samaj was to eliminate caste prejudice and liberate the disadvantaged lower castes from the stigma imposed by the upper castes. It is believed that Phule was the first to use the term Dalit to describe the oppressed masses. The Samaj opposed idol worship, rejected the caste system and campaigned for rational thinking, believing there was no need for priests to mediate between devotees and God. Chhatrapati Sahu, the Maratha ruler of Kolhapur, supported the Satya Shodhak Samaj. Jyotiba Phule, trusted by backward castes for his work in education, led the Samaj with ideals of human well-being, happiness, unity, equality and simple religious principles. By 1876, the Satya Shodhak Samaj had 316 members and had spread throughout Maharashtra. That same year, Phule opened his personal water well to everyone, symbolizing his inclusive attitude. Phule wrote 16 books that significantly raised social awareness among the downtrodden masses who faced atrocities from both the upper castes and the British administrators at the time.
Satya Shodhak Samaj was very different from other societies, Arya Samaj and Brahma Samaj, Ramakrishna Mission, because it was focusing on eradication and elimination of caste system, number one. Second important thing was that he wrote a book named Gulamgiri. So, what we find in Gulamgiri, he has described in a very comprehensive manner that how caste hierarchy has been responsible for degeneration of Indian society, even degeneration of women. So, he was thoroughly against the caste system and the hierarchy of caste.
In 1873, he published Gulamgiri, meaning slavery, dedicating it to the African American movement to end slavery. Apart from Gulamgiri, some of his major publications include Tritiya Ratna, Povada Chhatrapati Shivaji Raje Bhosle Yancha and Shet Karyacha Asud. The required educational system for the downtrodden, women and underprivileged sections of society was a central theme in various programs of the Satya Shodhak Samaj and was also reflected in Jyoti Rao's writings. In January 1877, Jyotiba Phule aimed to amplify the suppressed voices of farmers, labourers and other working class individuals by starting a newspaper called Deen Bandhu. This weekly Marathi language newspaper, founded by Krishnarao Bhalekar, served as an outlet for Phule's Satya Shodhak Samaj. In addition to his role as a social activist, Phule was also a businessman. By 1882, he identified himself as a merchant, cultivator and municipal contractor, owning 60 acres of farmland in Manjri near Pune. As an innovative farmer entrepreneur, Phule cultivated sugarcane on his farm, producing jaggery from sugarcane juice, which he sold in the market for considerable profit. He also encouraged local farmers to grow flowers, fruits and vegetables, dispelling misconceptions about foreign crops. Despite earning a substantial income, Phule dedicated all his earnings to social work, striving to improve the lives of the oppressed. In 1882, the British government sent the Hunter Commission, chaired by Sir William Hunter, to evaluate the condition and direction of the education system in India. Jyotiba Phule submitted a representation to the Commission outlining key points, advocating for compulsory primary education, encouraging education for women, promoting practical and need-based education, and opposing the filtration theory in favor of universal education for people in lower strata of society. Despite opportunities to join British government service, Phule preferred entrepreneurship. As a contractor, he supplied building materials for a large barrage of Khadakwasla near Pune, employing about 2,000 workers and starting a night school for them. From 1876 to 1882, Jyoti Rao served as a government-nominated member of the Pune municipality, where he advocated for public interests. He pushed for clean filtered water through a reservoir for Pune and opposed market constructions that burdened poor vendors. He also opposed lavish city beautification plans that would misuse funds collected from the poor. Phule also pioneered employee bonuses and organized workers' rights movements, founding the Bombay Mill Hands Association with Narayan Meghaji Lokhande.
People who belong to the lower hierarchy of caste, basically they were working for industries, and Narayan Meghaji Lokhande is the first trade union leader of our country. Sasipat Banerjee published Bharat Shramjeevi. In that you can find many references of the industrial labor class of that period, and you may feel that one of the biggest impacts of colonization was the Indian industry system itself, which evolved, which believed in exploiting the labor classes. So Jyotiba realized that Narayan Meghaji Lokhande is doing the actual work, because human dignity is very important. If human dignity is not restored, you will be treated as beast of burdens. So he had not opposed thoroughly the capitalist class, rather Narayan Meghaji Lokhande along with Jyotiba Phule was working for reform in the life of the laborer class, and they were actually trying to persuade the industrialists that they must introduce a system which should be based on justice and compassion.
On 28th November 1890, Jyotiba Phule took his last breath. After his death, his wife Savitri Bai Phule and his followers continued the work of the Satya Shodhak Samaj. Jyotiba dedicated his entire income to social work and deeply influenced many with his dedication.